accumulator right there for a 2007 LS460 Lexus. I ordered the part from my Lexus, myl.com, mylparts.com, and first you got to disconnect the battery cable. So you disconnect the neutral. Make sure you disconnect the neutral when you're working with new braking systems. Then I had to get to this. So right here, down here, there was the reservoir. It had 3 bolts on it, and then the electronic parts here sat right here like this for ABS brakes. So I took that off so I could have some room, and then I had to take off the windshield wipers here and there, and then I had to pull off the plastic parts that were here. There was one here and one on that side covering the battery. Then I took off that housing right there so that I can put this piece in just like that, and that's where it goes right there. So this piece right here is that piece right there. That was, I called my Lexus parts.com, and they told me that this was a replacement part for that. So I was on the phone with them for about 30 minutes, and this goes in here. So now I'm in the process of trying to get that thing out, and you can see down here there's one screw that's in upside down, and that holds that whole thing together. And then down here there's two screws down there that hold that thing in place. So you can see there's, here, let me put this right here. There's a screw here, 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 and here. And so somehow I'm going to figure out how to get that in there. Alright, I'll come back to that in a minute. Okay, we're going to go in reverse order now, and I just want to show you these bad boys here. You can kind of get up and kind of make them get out of the way here. That's why you got to mark them, because they're going to get mixed up. And if you look down here, the very bottom here, there's holes in here where the bottom of those things, I don't know which ones they are, but I'm going to check it out before I put it in. They go in, and then you got to come around the firewall here and look, and they kind of go down there at the bottom. So right there. Okay, so that's the next step, is to get that whole assembly in that little hole. So what a royal pain in the rectum that was. So these connecting parts here that go to the accumulator, you can see I put a little mark on them, and I numbered them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 4 in a row, and then 1, 2, and then the one on the side connects here. So I really didn't need to disconnect that until I get ready to take this off. So I had to come, jack the car up, take off the firewall here, or the fender well, come in here. I don't know if you can see it or not. There's 2 spots in here where there was 2 bolts. One here, and one back here. And then I was able to wiggle that thing past after getting all these parts disconnected in here. Get everything out of the way. And you can see you never get in there. There's leaves and stuff like that. I'm going to vacuum that out right now. Be careful with these little parts right here that you don't lose them. These little pieces of plastic, because they go back on the reservoir that I took off that was right here. Plastic reservoir was right here. You know, I've got that in a bag over here so it doesn't get contaminated. See it right there? So it leaked all over the place. I'm gonna have to put new fluid in there and clean it up really good. And then this thing pops out if you move these way over and wiggle them, and then I ended up breaking this thing off, which I don't like to do, but it happens sometimes. Okay, and then disconnected these, out of here. And here's the pump right here. That's the pump, and that pumps around, comes back and goes here into the accumulator body. Here's the plug. The electrical plug goes right here, and that's this one right here. So you want to be careful with that. And you have to disconnect this little box here. Was mounted to a frame. The ABS was right here. I told you. I took this off right there. So all that's going to have to go back together, and then I'm going to have to bleed the brakes out after I get the new piece in. This thing here, I'm going to have to take off this and this nut right here, right there, so I can take that body off. Alright, and it's leaking, so anyway, all this is going to have to be bled out. Alright, come back at Alright, so we got this off. Those are those bolts here. It mounts here, here, and here. Had to take off this line came across here, connected here. Then I just loosened these 3 bolts. So they were really tight. I don't know why they would torque them that tight. Maybe we'll figure it out right now. I saw some orifices at the bottom of that plate. Nope, not leaking or anything. Shows there's a little leakage there. It might be from that thing breathing. But anyway, so we got that off. Now we can mount the new accumulator on there and start putting everything back together, and then bleed the brakes out and get this thing running. So we'll go in reverse order from what I showed you. Alright. If I was going to do this again, I don't think it would take me as long, but just sitting there trying to look for resources on YouTube on how to get to that thing, and then realizing later that there were some bolts that went through. These 2 bolts go through the bottom of the firewall right here, this one and this one, and this whole frame comes apart, and then they stacked it on top of each other like a big orgy, and then you had 3 bolts and then 3 more bolts underneath it. So that's kind of a chore to get to. Anyway, good luck. Okay, getting back to this thing. This thing was stacked. There was a bolt here, one over here, and then one right here. So I broke them off, and it's still connected with this cable here and this gas line here, and this thing comes around here and goes to that throttle body, to the actuator, or accumulator, excuse me. So man, if a menage a trois was awkward, this thing is, I don't know what to call it other than an orgy. So just be prepared when you get in here. Got to take this off and then take these bolts off underneath. So you got to get this off and separate it first. Alright. Alrighty. I got the accumulator back in there. I tightened these things up, but it's still kind of loose, you can see. So I haven't tightened it down at the bottom, and that was so that I could get these things in straight. I could manipulate this thing so I could get all those things in without cross-threading them. Okay, so you can see I can still kind of turn these things nice and easy. Alright, and down here, those bolts down here, that one and then the other one over there are loose. Okay. ABS controller, reservoir, electronics, there's a little weird S thing that goes right there, and it bolts to that thing, and it's got a lock on it that goes into the aluminum, and then this top thing mounts to that. Put back the trim, not completely done yet, and the battery cover. Clean the window really good. So that's the next step on that.